What's going on, guys? Pixelated back at it again with another review. Today we're looking at one of my favorite silhouettes of 2016, which is set to make a huge splash in 2017, and it has started already. It is the Nike Special Field Air Force 1 in the Desert Camo colorway. First introduced at the butt end of 2016, the Nike Special Field Air Force 1 brought me, a guy who's despised the Air Force 1 since my youngin' days, to not just like but absolutely fall in love with a variation of that same model. That is a large feat for Nike, and I've covered a lot of that in my previous SFAF1 review of the string colorway. Be sure to check that out on my channel as well if you're a fan of these. Now, the release for these was really weird and unexpected for Canada. These released in the States and internationally, I believe, on a Saturday, February 18th, and retailed for $180 US, which is fine. That's perfectly fine, right? Normal release, 1 day of commotion, you cop it and it's over with. My friend ended up helping me buy a pair from a US site, which I was thankful for. Great, got it out of the way. Now I can take a breather and rest it out, right? Nope, not a chance. We then got news a day or so before the 24th that they were releasing on that day up here in Canada. No knock to Nike for that, but yes, knock to Nike for that. Come on, guys, you could have at least mentioned this ahead of time, or at least before the US dropped that they were releasing in Canada a little less than a week after. I get it, they're a quick strike shoe. A lot of the sites that release these labeled them as QS, which stands for quick strike. Usually a shoe labeled Quick Strike by Nike is a shoe that basically is released somewhat shortly after it is introduced, very sporadically and in limited quantities, without some sort of like official build up to the release. Surprisingly for us up here in Canada, the stock on these was very healthy as opposed to any other hype shoes, even non-hype shoes to be honest. They were only released in some of Canada's top sneaker boutiques, no release on Nike.ca or any larger foot stores like Foot Locker or Champs. The boutiques, however, had stock enough for anyone who really wanted these, and I'm talking like 150 pairs plus for each one. Thankfully for me, I was able to buy mine off of Livestock's website. Shout out to them, and shout out to my friend who was left in the cold with his hands in his ass, now not knowing what to do with the pair he bought for me. Just kidding, he figured out what to do with it. If you don't already know, the Nike Special Field Air Force 1 is a variation of the Air Force 1 silhouette and Nike's take on the Air Force 1 as a military boot. It is inspired by the style of a boot that a special forces or army soldier might wear. This is Nike's first collab with designer Ben Kirshner, who said that the first design of this boot actually came with a crepe sole. For those not sure what that is, it's similar to what you see on the Yeezy Season 2 crepe boot. It is made of that same material, and he said that he hopes that version will actually see a release in the future as well. So obviously there is a larger vision for this silhouette with plenty more releases to follow. In other words, if you haven't bought a pair or weren't able to get one yet, don't worry, there's still hope. The Special Field Air Force 1 design came to fruition with Ben experimenting and fusing the already existing Nike Special Field boot with the classic Nike Air Force 1. He did also say that he has other collabs planned with Nike as well, so if you enjoyed his first foray with the infamous swoosh brand, I'm sure his aesthetic will bleed over into future projects and might be something worth looking forward to for you as well. Now enough of the designer, let's get into the shoe. As with previous Special Field Air Force 1s, we have a boot that is mostly a true, untampered Air Force 1 at the forefoot and midfoot of the shoe. The majority of the differences happen when we move down to the back end and foot opening of the shoe. The opening of the shoe, instead of being a high cut boot with a typical standard opening, is actually cut a little below the standard high cut length, which I believe is 12 inches or a foot, and is somewhat above typical mid cut boots or sneakers. The other most distinguishing factor is the design of the opening, as it is a one-piece tongue wrap style, not only ensuring that you're styling one notch above a standard military soldier, you're also weather protected since that one piece will prevent any sort of rain or snow from leaking in. Now, as every other shoe tuber has done and I'm about to do as well, one thing that is very obvious with the Desert Camo colorway is the striking similarity it has with the string colorway of the same sneaker. Hey partner, watch where you're walking. I literally can't. I'm a boot. Watch how you're talking. I don't like the tone of your voice, young boy. Do you even know who I am? No, actually I don't. Please enlighten me. Boy, I'm Major Sergeant General of the Air Force 1 SEAL team. Oh, sorry, didn't know you were a veteran. My bad, dude, my respects. You know what, Sonny? You're not that bad. Oh, why thank you. By the way, what's your kill count? Boy, you better watch that flabby mouth of yours. Alright, now that they've had their bonding moment, let's get on with it. Now, while the string colorway was majorly constructed of a suede upper, the suede really doesn't feel too thick. It sort of feels like if I scrape my foot against a rough edge once, I might tear right through it. Let's hope that's not the actual truth and is just a perspective belief of mine. With the Desert Camo, however, the front section of the upper where the toe box lies and the mid-panel tooling as well as the Nike swoosh logo are all made of this very high quality, buttery, soft, tumbled leather. It's very soft and nice to the touch, and because it's leather, not only is it almost guaranteed to be sturdier, you can actually wear these in harsh conditions and not worry about the material getting demolished as you would with the suede upper of the string SFAF1s. I will say this as well, the Desert Camo upper feels like it's holding onto your foot much better than the suede upper of the string SFAF1. The string colorway has a completely one-tone upper but has a gum outsole. The Desert Camo SFAF1 on the other hand has an entirely one-tone upper with the outsole being the same color aside from the nylon or ballistic mesh backing of the shoe that is covered in a Desert Camo print. The string Air Force 1 tongue wrap is made entirely of this ballistic mesh or nylon that runs across the back of the shoe, while the Desert Camo Air Force 1 tongue wrap starts off with the ballistic nylon mesh at the bottom and switches to that same soft buttery tumbled leather at the top. And the final difference obviously being that the string Air Force 1 came with 2 of the same flat straps for each boot, while the Desert Camo colorway came with a flat strap and the famed ever so popular paracord strap. The Desert Camo Special Field Air Force 1 is a slightly darker, more murky tone than the string colorway as well, so that's something to consider when deciding between the two, and that's where the differences end between these shoes. The sneaker has a perforated toe box like every other Air Force 1, but also has these side vents on the sides that look like 2 mini speakers popping out of the shoe for added breathability. Speakers in sneakers. Now that's an idea. Anyways, this is an important addition since the shoes will obviously have less air flowing through it without them as a low-cut sneaker would. These sneakers do have memory insoles in them for added comfort. I'm not sure if other Air Force 1s have them, as I've never owned any pairs in the past, but if they didn't, then this is most definitely a most welcome addition. Now the laces don't tie all the way up to the front of the shoe. You can see the eyelets and a couple inches below the top, but what I did notice are these metal hooks at the top. At first they just seem aesthetic, like they're there to make it look like they're combining the tongue with the back to make it a one-piece shroud, but it seems to me like you can actually put the laces through the little gap and lace the sneaker up all the way if you wanted to. I don't know how I didn't notice this earlier. The Special Field boot that was part of the inspiration of these has the exact same lace hooks. At the back we have these 2 loops, one of which is meant to place the strap that came with the sneaker through it, and the other for the paracord. To be honest, I think they placed the third one as a design cue just for the sake of continuity and allowing the loophole strap to ride down to the bottom of the shoe. But this just gives me another hole to put something through. Huh? What? Did I say something? Anyway, you already know I was going to do this, so check it out. I definitely tried multiple variation loops because I can. The Special Field Air Force 1 comes with these nice long rope laces, the classic Nike Air Force 1 midsole and outsole with Nike Air and Air branding promoting their cushioning tech, and of course, lastly we have our favorite part of the sneaker, the hidden stash pocket. I mean, that's not what I meant. You know what, actually, designer Ben Kirshner actually said what inspired him to make that pocket was that they were just trying to make the sneaker fun and add quirky things to it. The pocket was inspired by a movie reference, the movie being Rescue Dawn in Christian Bale's character where he asked to make a passport pouch in his boot. So we're going to see if this functionality actually exists in this pouch. Well, would you look at that? Ben, you played us, you goon. Alright guys, you know what time it is. It is hype beast lacing time. Because we want to look fly even when we're camouflaged. I had a really tough time deciding which one I liked better since the Desert Camo and string are so similar. There's no way I could keep both without feeling financially irresponsible. I decided to keep the string colorway mainly because although I like the paracord tons more than just a plain second strap, and I also prefer the leather material and the way it hugs onto my foot versus the suede on the string, I just prefer the tone of the string colorway. The gum sole is something I can't overlook either. It looks great on this shoe, and although I really like the desert camo print, something about this shoe without it just looks way tougher to me. Maybe I'm just over the desert camo print, or maybe the tone of the string is just that much better. That just goes to show you how significant the right colorway is for you to make your decision. As for sizing, I went half a size down as I always do with Special Field Air Force 1s, and they fit perfectly. I strongly recommend that for everyone else as well. As a person who's never enjoyed Air Force 1s or thought I'd own a pair, the fact that I can turn into a believer with this pair is incredible and should stand that you should at least have one pair in your collection. With that being said, I hope you enjoyed the review. If you took anything from the video, please hit that like button. What do you think of the silhouette of this shoe? Did you cop? Did you not? Is this something you enjoy, or is it not your cup of tea? I want to hear your thoughts and opinions in the comment section below. Please share the video with your friends, let them know Pix does the dopest on-foot reviews, and please subscribe for more juicy content. Catch you later. Pixelated out.